What's up, you guys? I'm Dominique Kristen and welcome back to my channel. On my last video, I told you guys what I did to lose 15 pounds in 1 month. But after filming that video, I realized that there were a few things that I forgot to mention and thought that a part 2 would definitely be helpful to you guys. Today we are going to go over some benefits that I failed to mention before, some obstacles, and what it was like to add sugar back into the diet, which is very important. So let's get started. One major benefit that I failed to mention before is that after you got used to the sugar being out of your system, you really felt a lot better. Food didn't seem as heavy and you definitely feel more energized, which I absolutely love. Another benefit that I noticed once I gave up sugar was that my skin got a lot clearer. I noticed that beforehand, I had like a lot of little acne bumps. I've never been a person who gets like major big pimples, but I would get tons of tiny bumps like on my forehead area and a few on my chin. And I noticed that after I got rid of the sugar that I didn't have those as much, which was great for me. So clearer skin, more energy, and you feel much lighter. Giving up sugar is not for the faint of heart. So I do want to talk about some of the foods that I was eating that really helped me to sustain this diet and to make it that whole month. Number 1, mandarin oranges. Yes, mandarin oranges, the little cutie ones, the fresh ones, super sweet. Whenever I was having a sugar craving, I found that those were super helpful in just giving me that burst of energy and that little bit of natural sugar that I needed in my body to really get things going, especially if you are feeling, like a lack of energy initially. I ate those things like crack, guys. I mean, I kept those bags in my fridge. I had probably like 2 big bags of them just down there at all times. Mandarin oranges, definitely something that you want to keep around if you like citrusy things. The second food that I want to mention that I kept around is sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes were absolutely amazing. I could not stand sweet potatoes as a kid, but as an adult, I totally have learned to enjoy them, and you don't need to add anything to them for them to be enjoyable. So because that was something that I ate beforehand, I definitely wanted to keep it around. Just place them in the oven, bake them, and it helps to get you filled up, helps you to get that energy up, gives you that little bit of sweetness that you're missing from not eating sugar, and it's absolutely great. So I definitely recommend to keep those around. I know that a lot of people tend to eat those around holidays and add like a lot of sugary things like brown sugar or marshmallows, but if you have never tried a sweet potato on its own, I definitely recommend it. It's really good. The third food that I kept around that I definitely want to mention here is chips and salsa. So it's so easy to find sauces that do not have sugar in them. If you like something a little bit more spicy, a lot of the spicier salsas don't have sugar to keep that kick in there. Just to make sure that you're not missing that snack portion of like your diet and you're not, feeling deprived. The salsa that I got was definitely low in calories. I think that it was between 10 to 15 calories per serving. So yeah, that was definitely a great little salty snack to have around. So now that we're talking about salty snacks, this is something that I definitely want to mention that I did not mention in the first video, and it is so important. When you give up sugar, or at least for me, this was the case. When I gave up sugar, I noticed that instantly I wanted to replace it with something else, and all of that time it was salt. So initially, just make sure that you are not trying to overcompensate with salt or any other type of food to make up for that lack of sugar, because that can harm you as well. You don't want to have too much sodium. So I noticed that I was, okay, I can't have sugar, but I can still have my potato chips, or I can still have tortilla chips. You have to be super careful not to break a bad habit and then add another bad habit. Another obstacle that I want to mention is that when you first start intermittent fasting, make sure that you are not trying to cram food from that time that you're not eating into the period that you're eating. So if you're skipping breakfast, make sure that when it comes around to lunch and dinner time that you're not making up for all of the food that you've missed, because guys, totally defeats purpose. No, we're not doing that. Okay, so make sure that you're not overeating, because that would be pointless. Make sure that you pay attention to what you're eating, and tracking calories can help. Now I know, some people hate tracking calories. I was one of those people. I am not judging you, believe me. However, I did find that keeping a little list of the things that I was eating on a normal basis, and just like their calorie count next to just a little list, something that you're eating all the time, just kind of helps you to pay attention to what you're eating, to know where you are for your calories for the day, because not only do you not want to eat too much, but you want to make sure that you're not eating too little as well, because if you are not getting enough calories, it's super easy for your weight loss to stall. So make sure that you are eating properly. So one thing that I do want to mention, another tip for those who are doing intermittent fasting, if you know that you are going to be out and about during the afternoon, maybe you're leaving to do something in the morning and you can't start eating until noon, but you're not going to be back until way after you're supposed to start your eating for the day, either take a snack, or if you're doing something super physical beforehand, eat a little piece of fruit, eat a little something, just so that you have that energy, because you do not want to risk passing out. If I know that I don't start eating until 12, I have a workout at 11, I'm eating something at 10, then I'm cutting my eating off at 6 instead of 8 to make up that 2-hour difference. So yeah, definitely make sure you do not pass out. This last little obstacle I want to mention specifically for the women. I do want you to know that when you are menstruating, your cravings, as you know, just like any other time, are through the roof. So just make sure that you take note of that. Don't think you're crazy. Don't throw in the towel. The last thing that I do want to mention in this video is what it was like to add sugar back. As soon as I broke the fast and congratulated myself, I got me a little frap from Starbucks. That's a lot of sugar. It had that one thing. I immediately felt like I needed a nap after. I got a headache. I felt like I needed to lay down. So for me, that's what adding sugar back was like. And after you get used to it, you notice that you don't miss the sugar as much. I had the drink and I was like, oh, okay, this is fine. But I didn't miss it as much as I thought I did when I added it back. I also noticed that when I added sugar back into my diet, that I almost instantly wanted to eat more of it. It's one of those things that's super addictive. And if you already struggle with like cravings and like any sort of like food addiction or anything like that, then you may want to continue with this process a little bit longer. I decided to give it another go for a second month, which went pretty well. And yeah, so just making sure that once you add it back into your diet, that you don't go back to eating just like you were before. And if I can do it, then you can do it. And I'm super proud of myself, and I'm super proud of any of you guys who are trying to make positive changes in your life, especially when it comes to exercise and eating and taking care of your body. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you, if you like this video, that you give it a thumbs up. If there's somebody that you know who would benefit from, giving up sugar and doing intermittent fasting, then share this with them. Share the previous video with them. I'll link it in the description below. And just make sure that you are taking care of you guys. I love you so much. Until next time, I am signing off. Dominique Kristen.